supporters rallying behind both parties. And in a groundbreaking art sale, Italian artist Salvador Garo has sold an invisible sculpture titled "I Am," fetching a staggering $18,000. No, that's not a typo. The sculpture is literally invisible. Garo describes it as a vacuum that occupies space and emits energy. It's a masterpiece of nothingness. The buyer received a certificate of authenticity and instructions to display the invisible art in a well-lit area. Talk about a minimalist dream. So if you're looking to invest in art that takes up no space, this might be your chance. Well, coming up in the show, we're talking road safety with J.S. Johnson and how clean driving can save you money. Then we shift gears with Captain Fernley Palmer as he reflects on his time in the Boys Brigade. Stay tuned. You're watching What's Trending.
Trade Cruise Global 2025, a premier forum for cruise executives and industry leaders, Director General of the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Latia Duncombe, spoke to the importance of the forum for the future of the country's cruise sector.
Sea Trade 2025 is significant for the islands of the Bahamas. Cruising in the Bahamas in general is north of 80% of our business. Cruising in general worldwide is big business, and 44% of cruising globally is throughout the Caribbean region. The Bahamas represents the largest number of cruise line passengers. Sea Trade 2025 gave us an opportunity to engage direct with industry leaders, industry partners, owners, CEOs, presidents, operators in many of the different cruise lines. For us, it's looking at what we offer here in destination, and then also opportunities to expand to ensure that all of the economic benefits reaches to every one of our Bahamians. So in addition to the traditional discussions, it was the visitor experience. And by extension, new business opportunities for our locals across the islands of the Bahamas. Engaging in the discussions was our Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Chenja Moxie. We have a lot of announcements, a lot of exciting things happening in Grand Bahama 2025. Also our Tourism Development Corporation, making sure that opportunities exist for our micro, small, and medium-sized operators. And then again, our team at large. So we're here at Sea Trade 2025, exploring on opportunities, expanding the business, and making sure that the impact of our cruise business is felt by all Bahamians.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
You buckle up, obey the speed limit, and stay alert behind the wheel, you're not just protecting lives, you might also be protecting your wallet. As the world marks the 8th United Nations Global Road Safety Week under the theme Streets for Life, hashtag make walking safe, hashtag make cycling safe, we're zooming in on how safe driving can lead to real financial rewards. Here in studio with us are Charles Johnson, a senior manager, and Indy Johnson, marketing manager from J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, a company turning clean driving records into savings and showing us how responsibility on the road can literally pay off. Welcome to What's Trending, Charles, Indy. Great to have you here with us.
Thank you. Certainly a pleasure to be with you.
That's awesome. So I'll start with you, Indy. Can you start by telling us a bit about J.S. Johnson and your role in promoting the road safety campaign?
Okay, so J.S. Johnson has been providing, insurance coverage for a range of different areas in the Bahamas for over 100 years, since 1919. And as we've grown, we're helping the Bahamas to grow. We want to make sure that drivers are educated. They know the importance of safety, and as you said, the way that it can transition into saving money. And we do offer incentives for safe drivers at J.S. Johnson, and Charles can elaborate.
So then, Charles, tell us what specific financial incentives does J.S. Johnson offer for individuals with clean driving records, since that's the benefit before the punishment.
Absolutely. There are some industry standards whereby a no-claims discount is offered to persons who would have drive without accidents, and it's built or designed on a scale, which means that if you were to insure your vehicle for the first time, after 1 year without a claim, you are rewarded, if it's a comprehensive policy, up to 35% discount. And that amount increases annually up to about 4 years, whereby you can earn as much as 65% discount. You will find that the premium that someone pays who have not had a claim, say if you've been insured for 5 years and you have not had a claim, the premium that you're paying is probably going to be less than 50% of what the premium would have been if you did in fact have 1 or 2 claims.
So Indy, would you say that these kinds of programs actually motivate people to drive a bit more with caution in mind on the streets?
I would say for those that are aware, it definitely plays a big part. But I'm happy that we have this venue to be able to put it out there to the public for those that may not be aware that driving safely definitely can have a great benefit on the back end when it comes to reducing your insurance payments.
Because everybody's looking to save cost in some form or fashion, and this is definitely a wise way that you can do it since you're on the streets every day, basically.
Anyway.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And is JS Johnson involved in any other local community or school initiatives aimed at promoting safe road use?
We definitely are focused on that with regards to our social media, and we definitely focus on promoting safe driving. We have a buckle up series that we've done, driver safety, where we've done a number of videos where we talk about the importance of, wearing your seatbelt, child car seats, driving at a moderate pace, using the roundabouts properly. So definitely via social media, we've been promoting the message of road safety and the importance. So Charles, can you tell us where our viewers can go to learn more about your road safety initiatives or even just to get a quote?
Well, certainly, we have several offices, head office here on Collins Avenue, and we have branch offices and sub-agents throughout the Bahamas. A phone call can get you to one of our customer service persons within seconds. And of course, we're on social media. You can certainly send your inquiries in, and we will very quickly respond to those questions that you may have.
That's right.
We are easily accessible.
The easiest way I'd say would be to go to our website, jsjohnson.com, and you're able to just go to motor, and you get a quote, click get a quote, and you get a quote, you get a response within 48 hours.
Oh, that's quick. Well, thank you so much, Indy and Charles, for joining us on What's Trending today. It's clear that companies like JS Johnson are doing more than just insuring drivers. They're helping to inspire safer habits and rewarding responsibility. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Stay tuned as we explore how making roads safer for everyone starts with awareness, accountability, and action.
Diet-friendly special.
You've got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
Hey, Josie. Hey, honey. You got nothing to do for me yet? Can I tell you why I get no money? At least not yet. I get my money. Managers. Oh, and I done upload it.
Hello, Miss Daisy. Your check is ready.
Thanks. I got it. I come for that little thing. You got it?
Money managers. Responsible lenders for responsible people.
that road traffic injuries are among the leading causes of death and disability worldwide. Each year, approximately 1.2 million people lose their lives on the roads and up to 50 million more are injured. Tragically, road crashes are now the #1 killer of young people ages 5 to 29. Pedestrians and cyclists, often the most vulnerable road users, account for more than 1 in 4 of these deaths. In recognition of this global crisis, the 8th United Nations Global Road Safety Week is shining a spotlight on the urgent need to make walking and cycling safe. The campaign calls for concrete action at national and local levels to promote safe, accessible, and sustainable transportation.
Of the 3,200 people who die every day on the world's roads, roughly 1/4 are pedestrians and cyclists. There are some variations across regions. In Africa, for example, 1 in 3 road traffic deaths are pedestrians. And in the Western Pacific, 1 in 7 are cyclists. Meanwhile, 80% of the world's roads fail to meet pedestrian safety standards, and just 0.2% have cycle lanes, leaving these road users dangerously exposed. We need and we can do better.
Dr. Etienne Crudge, director of the World Health Organization's Department for Social Determinants of Health, outlines some of the key challenges pedestrians and cyclists face globally. While walking and cycling should be safe and healthy forms of mobility, current statistics tell a troubling story, underscoring the need for immediate, coordinated action.
If our ambitious fatality reduction targets are to be met, we need political will for accelerated action on proven measures. As reflected in the Global Plan for the Decade of Action for Road Safety 2021-2030, such measures include better laws and law enforcement, for example, around speeding, using of phones while driving, and drinking and driving. Better vehicles and infrastructure with sidewalks, bicycle lanes and safe crossings, and better emergency care systems. Many countries are taking steps in the right direction and prioritize our right to safe mobility. However, governments must continue to rethink mobility, improving safety so that people are able to make more healthy and sustainable transport choices.
Dr. Krug emphasizes that a number of proven strategies are available to governments and communities to reduce fatalities and injuries on the roads.
These include safe walking, cycling, and using public transport, which are better for people and the planet. These modes can help to reduce the burden of diseases like cancer and diabetes, improve our mental health, boost access to jobs and education, and help fight climate change. We need commitment and action from leaders and governments that match the scale and urgency of the ongoing crisis.
These strategies include safe infrastructure like protected bike lanes, lower speed limits, and inclusive urban planning that puts people, not cars, at the center of transportation design. And here in the Bahamas, where both pedestrians and cyclists are a regular part of the traffic landscape, the call to action is just as relevant. Whether in bustling Nassau or on the more tranquil streets of the Family Islands, many Bahamians rely on walking and cycling every day. Yet, the infrastructure often fails to support safe travel. There are few dedicated bike paths, limited pedestrian crossings, and high rates of speeding, all of which put vulnerable road users at risk. Creating safe roads in the Bahamas isn't just a transportation issue, it's a public health imperative. If we envision a future where cyclists and pedestrians can move safely and confidently through our communities, we must invest in smarter urban planning, better enforcement, and public awareness. One day, dedicated bike lanes and pedestrian-first policies can become a way of life across our islands, but only if we take action now.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
You've got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
Hi, Phil Swift here for the Flex Seal family of flood protection products. Our flood protection products are specifically designed to work together in order to create multiple layers of super strong protection. All these windows, doors, seams, and openings have all been sealed up tight. Now there's a new way to protect your home or business from damaging floodwaters. Get the removable Flex Seal family of flood protection products.
While many know Captain Fernley Palmer for his national contributions, perhaps his greatest impact has been through youth mentorship. As the founding captain of the 14th Nassau Company of the Boys Brigade, he helped mold generations of Bahamian men into leaders. Now, you're the oldest living captain of the Boys Brigade in the Bahamas. What inspired you to start that journey back in 1958?
It was Mr. Robert A. King, who came from London, for the Boys Brigade. And he got in contact with the later in Talmadge Sands, the Zion Baptist Church on Connie East and Shirley. And they was looking for a captain, but I was not involved in the first half dozen young men who was involved in the church activities at that time. But I was a partly member of the first Nassau Company, the Wesley. And hearing about me, Reverend Sands introduced me to Mr. Robert A. King. And I went up the very first night to the Boys Brigade in Zion, because that's the church I was christened to and attend and still a member. And again, I was introduced to Mr. A. King. And the officers, the 6 young men who they sent at that time, could not line up the boys who came out to join the first night. So then I was asked, with my experience from number 1 company, to join the line of the boys. And I put the 6 officers with the boys who came to join that night as one straight line.
You lined them up. Got them in order.
Yes. And then after a few drill movements and showing them how to drill, I was calling the Reverend Sands office the same night. And Mr. A. King, who was a secretary training officer from London, from Scotland, he recommended that I be the captain. And that very night, they made me the captain.
And you started, I think you said, from the age of 14 or 13. When did your parents put you in the Boys Brigade?
My parents put me in the Boys Brigade at the age of 13.
So you're very familiar about...
Oh, yeah. I know all the Boys Brigade movement, the drill. I know everything, just about everything about Boys Brigade at that age.
How would you say the needs of young men changed over the years? Like from when you joined to now? I think you said you were in it until up to last year, very active.
Yeah, the young man has changed, but it comes right back to the parents. the parents. If the parents don't bring, it's a church organization. The Boys Brigade must be attached to a church. Vestry Boys Brigade, St. Vanos Boys Brigade, Zion Boys Brigade, Bethel Boys Brigade, St. John Boys Brigade. Desmond Fernandez, president of his church, New Destiny Boys Brigade. This is the base of the church, is the religion and discipline. So if the parents don't bring the boy to church or we don't recruit them from Sunday school, then we as officers go street walking and try through the corners to recruit boys to join the church. But they go right back, and for the whole country, it's still their parents. If the parents bring the boys to those churches, the captains, the church, the pastors will take the boys.
Can you recall a moment when you truly felt that you were making a difference in a young man's life through Boys Brigade?
Yes, I felt that because I can see the results of plenty of the boys through the Boys Brigade. For instance, the 10th of May 1980, when the Flamingo went down, there was 4 boys from the 14th Company on that boat. 2 survived and 2 went down. Gregory Curry, still alive today to my knowledge, he said, Captain Palmer, the last word I heard Tucker said was, "Oh, Lordy." But they trained in Zion Sunday School room. Recommended. It was the life.
So let's talk about the current state of the Boys Brigade in the Bahamas City. What are your thoughts on it?
We doing what we can. I still think through the council. The council could do a little more.
Okay.
Yeah. To come right back to the council to say to the officers, the captain and the officers, give them the instruction, give them the program, and they'll filter that through the church. And then it'll spread into the community so we can do a little more.
What's your advice, or what advice would you offer to young people about leadership, discipline, and purpose?
You can't beat the Boys Brigade. There's good organization, the Boy Scout, the Girls Brigade, Girl Scout, the Pathfinders, they're beautiful organization, baseball, basketball. But when it comes to the Boys Brigade, you see, we have a twin pillar, religion and discipline. And any country, any organization, anything, without religion and discipline, it cannot stand. That's why we have the Boys Brigade. Boys Brigade may be one, but we stand out there on religion and discipline.
And in this world full of distractions, how can we keep our youth engaged and inspired?
The Boys Brigade program for that. It come right back. You send your boy to the Boys Brigade, the program. They will differ, they'll go off. No. But the base, the foundation, they wouldn't go very far. Check the record with the CID, Royal Bahamas Police Force, see how many boys in the Boys Brigade in this country got themselves in trouble with the law. You can't get 100%, but the percentage is very small, very small.
Well, one thing is evident from my conversation with Captain Palmer. The Boys Brigade provides the ideal ratio of dedication, mentoring, and discipline. And as we celebrate International Day of the Boy Child on May 16th, he is passionate about seeing more young people rise up and join this organization. You're watching What's Trending, and trust me, there's more ahead after the break. Stay with us.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
New stuffed crust cheddar flavor has a taste you'll enjoy.
Outside and inside.
with a delicious stuffed crust covered in irresistible cheddar flavor. Come and try the new stuffed crust cheddar flavor, only at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Diet-friendly special.
And that's how we wrap another trending day. Thanks for hanging out with us here on What's Trending. Now, What's Trending will not air on Thursday, May 15, due to the ZNS Network's coverage of the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan in Grand Bahama beginning at 1:30. We'll be back on Monday at 6 p.m. with more headlines, highlights, and heat. But before we go, we here at What's Trending want to thank Kyson Miller for your great work. Can you come up? You jumped in with enthusiasm, kept things moving behind the scenes, and brought real value to the team. And interns like you make a difference, and we saw it. So we want to say thank you for working with us here on What's Trending, and it definitely was a pleasure. Wishing you the best on wherever you go in your next move.
Thank you so much.
Until then, stay curious, and most of all, stay connected.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are broadcasting live from the Grand Lucayan Resort, where in a matter of hours, tourism officials will converge for the much-anticipated Grand Lucayan Heads of Agreement signing, as the property over recent years has undergone a number of hurdles, including a failed HOA arranged under the former administration. Tomorrow's signing ushering in new hope for a change in tide for the beleaguered economy. Our Lloyd Allen reports.
Investments in aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper. This is good news for the second city as the government continues to strengthen the economy there.
Grand Bahama is already leading all of the destinations in the Bahamas in airlift, with 11.6% ahead of last year.
The resort in August 2018 was acquired by the government from Hutchinson Whampoa to avoid a permanent closure and was built on the legacy of the Holiday Inn and Atlantic Beach Hotel. The DPM says $1.2 million in maintenance cost was spent monthly since the acquisition, but considers it a worthy investment toward the resort's resale.
There would have still been substantial fixed costs that would persist. For example, you had to keep the air conditioner on, and if you didn't do that, the place would become quickly mold infested and deteriorate rapidly.
With optimism riding high, the deal also hailed as a positive advancement by former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who too made attempts toward revitalizing the property with a failed heads of agreement signed back in 2020.
And it would please me and please the average Bahamian, if not all, if this were to materialize, because it would be good for Grand Bahama and be good for the Bahamian people.
Coalition of Independence representative and Central Grand Bahama Member of Parliament Iram Lewis also offered high hopes today in Parliament on the project.
We want this to be a very successful venture for the island of Grand Bahama. We want us to really kickstart our economy.
And as Cooper thanked employees and residents for their patience over time toward the years of uncertainty surrounding the property, he was tight-lipped on the new investor, simply saying,
"You'll confirm it at 2 o'clock tomorrow."
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, it's the real deal. That's what the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, is declaring ahead of tomorrow's highly anticipated Heads of Agreement signing. On the verge of what she calls the true revitalization of this Northern Islands economy, she sat down with our Devontae Hanna to set the gears in motion to what she believes will be the long-awaited restoration. Our Devontae is live tonight in the hall where it is all expected to unfold. Devontae?
Yeah, well, Raven, I can tell you that the energy here is charged as we now set the stage for what will be a very historic moment here in Grand Bahama. We got a chance to speak with the Honorable Minister, Ginger Moxie. She says that tomorrow's signing is symbolic of the true revitalization of the island. Take a look.
It is happening. I am excited. It means so much for the people of Grand Bahama who have weathered this storm.
And after years of searching, the Davis administration is confident that they've finally struck the right deal for the Grand Lucayan Resort.
We've ensured that it incorporated not just the Grand Lucayan, but the surrounding area. And so I think that's huge for the people in the marketplace and everyone and everywhere else.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says the process was thorough as the government waded through dozens of investors who sought after the property, currently costing the Bahamian taxpayer in excess of $40 million a year.
We took our time, but we are excited to have the right buyer, the right deal for the people of Grand Bahama Island.
But she's not touting this as the only victory for Grand Bahama. Moxie says since coming into office, much has been done, and she commits the work will continue.
Right away, we got to work, and we started to do the big things, which took a lot of time to get it done, and also what is considered the small things. But that's the things that allowed us to be able to empower people, cause them to be able to put bread on the table with initiatives like Beautiful Grand Bahama.
The focus is on the Lucaya area, which officials hope will re-emerge as the tourist hub on the island. Hours before the big event, the Grand Lucayan is buzzing with last-minute preparations. And as the minister says, there's no turning back now.
There was a visit earlier last year where, we did some tours and all that, and we finally arrived at this point where we're ready to, sign the deal, seal the deal.
But I can tell you that outside or inside this Grand Ballroom, it is absolutely buzzing. I have one person up here on the ladder. I don't know if my cameraman could pan up. He's placing a projector up there to ensure that those seats that are all the way to the back of this ballroom, people can see them on the other side of me. I have teams that are in and out that are ensuring that this room is set for where it all happens tomorrow. And I understand that tomorrow will not just be a signing. We are told that there will be a special demonstration and a special surprise that many of you who are home should tune into the ZNS Network for during our live broadcast. We're not going to say exactly what it is, but you should absolutely tune in. So from inside the Grand Ballroom, I'm going to send it back to you, Raven.
Exciting news there, thanks to Bonte. Meantime, Port Lucaya vendors expressing cautious optimism that the long-awaited project could usher in new opportunities after years of economic hardship. More details in this report.
The Grand Lucayan was open, my darling. We experienced mega amount of sales.
It's a far cry from how things once were. For vendors at the Port Lucaya Marketplace, the resort's closure marked the beginning of a long economic drought. But now, with redevelopment plans back on the table, some are daring to hope again. The Grand Lucayan, once a thriving hub for tourism, has sat in disrepair since Hurricane Matthew in 2016. For longtime vendors like Ernestine Markland, the downturn has been difficult to endure.
It's like going from 0 to 100 because you know what it is to go from once making sufficient funds that we were the ones who fueled our children's going to college and what have you without a problem, to being the ones who needed a handout from the government just to survive. So with the sale of the hotel, we will definitely see an improvement in not only our pocket, but the economy of Grand Bahama.
Her experience is echoed by veteran woodcarver Terrence McKenzie, who says he's had to pivot just to stay afloat.
I used to make money like sometimes $1,000 a week, sometimes $1,500 a week. Yeah, my breakfast used to be like $100, my lunch would be $100. But now, it's a struggle now for me to make it, and I got to do wholesale. And that's how I survive,
And yet, optimism remains cautious. Failed deals with Royal Caribbean ITM Group and Electra America Hospitality left many disillusioned. But this time, these vendors say the energy feels different and there's no room for doubt.
God is so good and faithful that the Lucaya, yes, is doing it again. I am so overwhelmed. And I thank God. I am so appreciative that the sale of the hotel will go through. It means then that monies will return back to us, the vendors.
Now, with just hours to go before the anticipated signing, Nixon says she is hopeful that a reopened Grand Lucayan could also restore the once vibrant marketplace to its former glory, giving tourists a true taste of Bahamian culture.
There used to be the time when we used to have the Junkanoo rush outs. You used to have the Junkanoo man, Mr. Sanders, on the walkway, dressed in his Junkanoo uniform, speaking about the culture. And so I would like to see some of that happening again.
Meanwhile, with a potential new buyer set to be revealed, residents are also weighing in on what could be a fresh start for the island's tourism sector. Our Cleopatra Murphy has that report.
We've been given promises and promises and promises. So now it's just a waiting period. Once I see it, I believe it.
Hope runs deep, but Grand Bahamians are expressing a healthy dose of skepticism as government is set to sign yet another heads of agreement for the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort on Thursday. After several disappointments, many say they're taking a wait-and-see approach.
I think it's positive. However, it's been said before, every time it's around this period with elections and everything, this always comes up, but then nothing happens. So I don't really have any feelings towards it. I just want to see action.
Every time it come close to the election, we got a sale. After the election, nothing happened. The same thing has happened every year. This has been going on for how many years? 5, 10 years. It's like the government forget about Grand Bahama.
This view comes after the Minnis administration planned to sell the property for $55 million to Royal Caribbean International and the ITM Group that had formed a partnership, but that deal was cancelled by the Davis administration that announced a planned $100 million sale to Electra America Hospitality Group that fell through in 2022. Reports are the new buyer is U.S.-based Concord, Wilshire, and the possibility has some optimistic.
It'll be a big boost, a huge boost that we're looking forward to and that we would like to have done ASAP. We need that.
It only could be an upside to it. I mean, because, we've been stagnant for so long. Grand Bahama has been struggling for over 20 years now. So it only could be a win-win situation.
I hope we get everything in order and
go well. That's the best I could hope for.
Some believe this is finally it, and the property sale will add to the momentum they say Grand Bahama is experiencing.
I 100% believe that it will actually manifest this time. I've been here for 27 years. I've heard it before, but the whole vibe of the island, it's different. I think there's so many other developments are happening, and the momentum is here.
I think the deal will go through, and I think the people of Grand Bahama have something to look forward to.
Although she is wary, Corinne Roll hopes the third time is indeed the charm.
I pray it happens because Grand Bahama desperately needs it. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting, so now we need to see something.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thanks, Cleo. Switching gears now, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis addressing the State of the Nation in the House of Assembly today, noting that his administration has worked tirelessly since taking office in 2021 to restore economic confidence and stability. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Speaking in the House of Assembly on Wednesday morning, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis highlighted the significant strides the Bahamas has made in recent years towards achieving key national goals. Among the milestones he cited were the country's removal from the European Union and France's financial blacklist and its designation as a sixth nation to be deemed largely compliant with all 40 recommendations of the Financial Action Task Force. While noting that challenges remain, the Prime Minister reaffirmed his administration's commitment to tackling those issues through sound policy decisions and data-driven strategies designed to restore fiscal and economic stability.
Our economy has shown encouraging signs of growth, outperforming international projections. While international agencies have projected growth rates, for example, between 1.5% and 2% for 2024, the actual figures from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute indicate real gross domestic product growth of 3.4% for 2024.
The nation's leader emphasized that these results are not due to chance, nor merely a byproduct of post-COVID recovery.
It's clear that our approach to managing and growing our economy has yielded promising results. Our GDP now stands at $14.1 billion in real terms, which is the largest our economy has ever been, exceeding pre-pandemic GDP figures in 2019 by over $1.5 billion.
Additionally, the Prime Minister maintains that the progress being seen is a direct result of record-breaking investments, extensive infrastructure upgrades, and the creation of new opportunities for jobs and entrepreneurship across the country.
I won't rest until we drive down the cost of living and ensure that every Bahamian can lead a life of dignity, security, and stability. And I won't let up until we unleash the full potential of our financial services industry as the second pillar of our economy.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, live from the Grand Lucayan Hotel. There is more news after this break.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Don't miss the first annual Home and Hardware Expo, Saturday, June 7th at Pelican Bay from 2 to 6 p.m. Enjoy free exhibits, giveaways, and expert demos, plus an $150 short-term rental session at 3. Call 352-6126 for more details.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day, and don't forget the special offer from On Bahamas. April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% That's right. Everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Comet Bahamas.
Here at Freeport Decorators, we have hundreds of products for you to choose from. Whether you're in the market for trophies, plaques, rubber stamps, corporate signs, any kind of interior signage, stamps, or seals, we're your one-stop shop. We feature glass, acrylic, crystal awards for every occasion. We build all the trophies here on site. Looking for a gift item? We feature pens, key rings, mugs, tumblers, barbecue tools, even bamboo cutting boards. Have something already? Bring it on down. Let us see if we can print that special something on it for you. Need a headstone? Memorialize the memory of your loved one with a beautifully lasered granite marker. Our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We focus on customization. So if you have an idea or a new concept, bring it on down or call us at 352-5557 or even WhatsApp your idea to us at 646-0777 and we will do our best to make your awards and recognition ideas a reality.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back to the Grand Lucaine Resort. Well, continuing its annual tradition, the Cancer Association of Grand Bahama hosting a cancer seminar aimed at providing free essential information on potential carcinogens, preventative measures, and early detection signs for various forms of cancer. One of the key presenters, gynecological specialist Dr. Saida Bow, focusing her presentation on cervical cancer and one of its leading causes.
Is for males and females because HPV is sexually transmitted. So we want to make sure that men and women get the vaccine. And the HPV virus is also seen in head and neck cancers, penile cancers, vaginal, vulval cancers. So want to just try and make sure that we prevent all of these types of cancers.
Hosting a brief Q&A for attendees at the conclusion of her presentation, Bo commending the public's open mind concerning the information centric on not only the life-threatening diseases, but also inquiries on taking vaccines as well.
It's very good that people are open to receiving the vaccine because I know there was the big vaccine hesitancy secondary to the COVID vaccine, but as you would have heard me say, the HPV vaccine is not something new. It has been around for several years. It's been in the Bahamas for over 20 years now. So I'm happy that people are looking to get the vaccine. I just hope we see the uptick in the numbers soon.
And that's a look at stories making news. Jay, what's happening in sports?
Raven, it was an intense game between St. George's and LIS and high school championships at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Jay. Well, sports comes your way next, but first a check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Coming home.
know this time I'm on a one-way. It was once the heartbeat of Grand Bahama's tourism. Then came the storms, the silence, the setbacks. But now a new day is dawning, and with it the fulfillment of a long-awaited promise. This Thursday, May 15th at 2 p.m., the government of the Bahamas will sign a new heads of agreement for the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort. This historic moment signals renewed hope and opportunity for Grand Bahama. Join ZNS News for team coverage live from the Grand Lucayan Resort on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. This isn't just a signing, it's a turning point for Grand Bahama.
Ladies and gents, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports Top. In sports, 17-year-old Jaleesa Clark is moving up the big leagues. The top junior national tennis player in her age group will now be competing as a senior after being named to the Billie Jean Bahamas national tennis team.
I am very thankful for this opportunity and for this name I've given myself. I only could thank God and my coaches and my mother especially, because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. My mental, like how I think on the court and try not to overthink on the court, try to eat better and train more and put more time into practice. When it's time for tournaments, I would run a few laps, then get into training, and then we just play after. So I just work on my drills that I work for that day and then just play.
Jaleesa is a very talented young lady. She has a high IQ of tennis and she loves the game and she doesn't shy away from hard work and working hard.
Next in sports, championship game in high school soccer of the Arthur Paris Mary McNabb title game between St. George's Jaguars and LIS. LIS would score the first goal of the match. However, it was St. George's that scored 3 goals to follow, which led them to their first senior boys soccer title. MVP honors went to Mida Dalmis. With the win now, St. George's were able to book their tickets to the Bahamas Football Association Nationals, which is set to take place in New Providence beginning May 28th. Ladies and gents, that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
And I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. ATC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
A new era is dawning in Grand Bahama. An opportunity, it's knocking louder than ever. Introducing Tract B, Bahama Reef Yacht and Country Club, Unit 1. A prime corner commercial property, footsteps from the Port Lucayo Marketplace, crystal clear waters and white sandy beaches. This expansive 4.8-acre tract is zoned for commercial and multi-use development. Envision a thriving restaurant, a boutique hotel, or an entertainment hub unique to your vision come to life. You can live, work, play, and learn in paradise when you seize this rare opportunity today. Collaborate with DEFCO and let's shape the future of Grand Bahama Island together.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow for our special coverage of the Heads of Agreement signing here from the Grand Ilkayan Resort. We'll leave you now with a live shot of the Grand Ballroom, the venue for tomorrow's signing. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for the Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
Mario.
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the clock ticks on the government sealing a deal on Grand Bahama's future. What 2 opposition MPs make of the renewed plan to kickstart that island's economy. Also securing the future of the financial services industry. The government looks to up the sector's transparency and competitiveness with the help of the legislature. And April showers bring, that's right, May rain. A welcome to reprieve to an exceptionally hot and dry period. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. In just a matter of hours, government and tourism officials will converge on Grand Bahama for the much-anticipated Heads of Agreement signing for Grand Lucayan, a critical move that's expected to breathe new life into a hotel property that struggled to weather brutal hurricanes and failed deals. Lloyd Allen starts us off tonight.
Hope is riding high for the Grand Lucayan HOA signing set for Thursday. And according to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister responsible for tourism investments and aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, this is good news for the second city as the government continues to strengthen the economy there.
Grand Bahama is already leading all of the destinations in the Bahamas in airlift, 11.6% ahead of last year.
The resort in August 2018 was acquired by the government from Hutchinson Whampoa to avoid a permanent closure and was built on the legacy of the Holiday Inn and Atlantic Beach Hotel. The DPM says $1.2 million in maintenance cost was spent monthly since the acquisition, but considers it a worthy investment toward the resort's resale.
There would have still been substantial fixed costs that would persist. For example, you had to keep the air conditioner on, and if you didn't do that, the place would become quickly mold infested and deteriorate rapidly.
With optimism riding high, the deal also hailed as a positive advancement by former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who too made attempts toward revitalizing the property with a failed Heads of Agreement signed back in 2020.
And it would please me and please the average Bahamian, if not all, if this were to materialize, because it would be good for Grand Bahama and be good for the Bahamian people.
Coalition of Independence representative and Central Grand Bahama Member of Parliament Iram Lewis also offered high hopes today in Parliament on the project.
We want this to be a very successful venture for the island of Grand Bahama. We want us to really kickstart our economy.
And as Cooper thanked employees and residents for their patience over time toward the years of uncertainty surrounding the property, he was tight-lipped on the new investor, simply saying,
"You'll confirm it at 2 o'clock tomorrow."
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, it's the real deal. The word coming from the Minister for Grand Bahama ahead of tomorrow's hyped Heads of Agreement signing, signaling a true revitalization of that island's economy. She sat down with our Devontae Hanna to set the wheels in motion, and he joins us live tonight from the hall where it's all expected to unfold. Devontae, what can you tell us?
Kushal, we're here inside the Grand Lucayan where the final preparations are underway for tomorrow. But as you can see, the stage has been set. The shovels are in place for what the minister is calling the true revitalization of Grand Bahama.
It is happening. I am excited. It means so much for the people of Grand Bahama who have weathered this storm.
And after years of searching, the Davis administration is confident that they've finally struck the right deal for the Grand Lucayan Resort.
We've ensured that it incorporated not just the Grand Lucayan, but the surrounding area. And so I think that's huge for the people in the marketplace and everyone and everywhere else.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, says the process was thorough as the government waded through dozens of investors who sought after the property, currently costing the Bahamian taxpayer in excess of $40 million a year.
We took our time, but we are excited to have the right buyer, the right deal for the people of Grand Bahama Island.
The focus is on the Lucaya area, which officials hope will reemerge as the tourist hub on the island. Hours before the big event, the Grand Lucayan is buzzing with last-minute preparations. And as the minister says, there's no turning back now.
There was a visit earlier last year where, we did some tours and all that, and we finally arrived at this point where we're ready to, sign the deal, seal the deal.
You may be wondering, why do I have a hard hat in my hand? Well, we're told that tomorrow there will be a special demonstration that will signify that the work is to commence here on this property almost immediately, but you'll have to stick around for our special broadcast tomorrow to find out exactly what that will be. So from the Grand Lucayan Resort, I'm going to send it back to you in studio. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Devontae. We can also tell you tonight that former Member of Parliament from Marco City, Shivargo Lang, is singing the government's praises for locking down a heads of agreement for Grand Lucayan's redevelopment. On last night's edition of The Rundown with Clint Watson, the Grand Bahama native wished the government and the hotel developers the best, though he acknowledges the challenge for sustaining a robust tourism product in Grand Bahama was finding the right developer and operator. Overall, he's happy that's about to change.
We had a great developer in Hutchinson Whampoa, but they didn't have a good operation.
Right.
And so if this group that's signing is a great developer and operator, it would bode well for the island and for the country, quite frankly.
Well, now it's a good time to remind you that our live television and radio coverage of tomorrow's heads of agreement signing for the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort starts at 1:30 Thursday afternoon with a pre-show led by our colleagues at the Northern Service over in Freeport. The heads of agreement signing ceremony begins at 2 p.m. The demolition exercise an hour later at 3. ZNS's coverage concludes at 4 p.m. but returns at 5:30 p.m. with a Junkner rush out from Grand Lucayan to the Port Lucaya Marketplace. Now at 6:15 p.m., Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, is expected to deliver an address about Port Lucaya. You can then stay tuned for the Bahamas Tonight, the national report, which will be followed by a special edition of The Rundown with Clint Watson from Grand Bahama. Well, on the eve of tomorrow's historic moment and major milestone for the country's top industry, a veteran hotelier is tonight calling for even greater focus in ensuring the tourism product remains strong, even amid uncertain times. Corval Pyfram is here in studio with that story.
Even more good news here tonight, Makushla. It is true that 2025's numbers in terms of guest arrivals are down compared to last year, but that is not diminishing Robert Sands' optimism for both Bahama and the tourism industry. In fact, he sees opportunity, but first, he says, there needs to be clear focus.
Trending slightly behind last year, as I mentioned, but even of greater concern, rate down as well, but we don't think all is lost.
Behind those words, Robert Sands, Bahama's senior exec in charge of government and external matters, hastens to qualify that even though the first quarter's numbers this year are down from last year's, Bahama, like the Bahamas, is poised for better days ahead. Overall, this period, he thinks, should be used to build cohesion among various stakeholders. Sands wants more engagement with vacation rental owners, namely Airbnbs.
What we really need is to get all of those parties together, be able to work collaboratively, discuss issues that impact overall experience in the destination, and put our money where the mouth is in terms of making those improvements happen.
Sands also sees opportunity in trying to grow hotel rooms, what he considers raising the ceiling in terms of capacity for stopover visitors. While cruise arrivals are soaring, the same quite can't be said for stopover visitors.
There's no question that the cruise business is doing very well, but I think we now have to focus quite seriously with that same energy on putting heads in beds to ensure that the maximum benefit of tourism is being accrued to the people of the Bahamas.
And so in the short term, Sands says, first, we got to get past this uncertainty from geopolitical matters and then prioritize getting heads in beds. Makushla.
Thanks, Corval. Coming up, the Minister of Economic Affairs blast financial scams. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. There's more news in a moment.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
KFC is giving you more to love with our KFC Bucket Meals with large size. Get
The KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feeds 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers and reach. KFC knows value, and it's finger licking good.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Hello?
Hey, girl. What you saying? I just was calling to check up on you.
Hey, girl. Everything fine, but I just can't talk right now. I gotta go to the clinic.
The clinic? Everything okay with you?
Yeah, girl. Everything fine with me. I just trying to get this little one ready because he has an appointment for his childhood vaccination.
Well, Logan's 6 years old. I haven't taken him for his last vaccine appointment since before the pandemic.
Did you know that the childhood vaccinations could protect these little ones from preventable diseases like polio, rubella, measles, and mumps? So these vaccinations for the little ones is the best we could do for them.
I'm gonna make that appointment for him because I need him to get up to date with all of his vaccines. Let me let you go, but call me back when you come back home.
Mommy, I need to go get my vaccines.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO WHO, and the Canadian government.
Throughout history, from bartering in ancient markets to the invention of paper currency, convenience has been at the heart of the way we pay. As time marched on, so have we, from barter to cash and cash to digital. Whether you pay with an online bank transfer, digital wallet, or contactless card, with digital payments, options abound. The world never stops evolving, and neither should you. Choose freedom, choose flexibility, choose convenience. The future of pay is digital. Visit us online at livedigitalbahamas.com and on social media.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
You're looking at a shot there of John F. Kennedy Drive on the right, the Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs. Its neighbor, the Attorney General's office, and next to that, the Ministry of National Security. That shot, courtesy of our drone pilot, Neville Smith. Welcome back. Efforts continue to modernize the country's financial services sector. Legislators today debating 9 financial services bills in the lower chamber that will reform the sector and ensure it maintains its competitive edge in the global market. Fern Carey has the story.
Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Honorable Philip Davis, opened debate on the bills.
These 9 bills, Madam Speaker, demonstrate our unwavering commitment to meeting international standards while maintaining our strength as a financial jurisdiction. They improve our ability to prevent financial crimes while protecting legitimate privacy interests. They enhance our competitiveness in key sectors like trusts, corporate services, and arbitration. And they provide clarity and certainty to financial services providers and their clients.
He noted that the Bahamas was removed from the European Union's blacklist last year and just a few days ago from France's blacklist.
Under our watch, Madam Speaker, the Bahamas became just the 6th country. The Bahamas became just the 6th country in the world to achieve largely compliant status with all 40 Financial Action Task Force recommendations. This achievement speaks to our unwavering commitment to the highest standards of financial transparency and integrity.
He also noted that the economy continues to outperform international projections.
Our GDP now stands at $14.1 billion in real terms, which is the largest our economy has ever been, exceeding pre-pandemic GDP figures in 2019 by over $1.5 billion.
The bills will also ensure that the financial services industry maintains its status with all 40 recommendations from the Financial Action Task Force. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Well, some things need not be political. And for Shadow Minister of Finance, Kwesi Thompson, this includes the financial services industry. The East Grand Bahama MP is using that as a springboard to his contribution to that compendium of financial bills debated today in Parliament, aimed, as you just heard, at making the sector that much better.
This is not a partisan issue. It is a matter of national development and economic empowerment. If we are serious about building a resilient, Bahamian-owned financial services industry, then we must act decisively to remove outdated barriers and create real pathways for local participation. Honourable Speaker, the future of financial services in the Bahamas must include Bahamians, not just as employees, but as owners, as innovators, and as leaders. So, Madam Speaker, we on this side, again, as we say, we support these bills that have been presented.
Well, the Coalition of Independents may have only gained a seat in the House of Assembly a month ago, but it's seeking to make a mark early. In an historic move, the party's sole House member, Central Grand Bahama MP Iram Lewis, tabled proposed legislation that comes on the heels of a raging structural and brush fires across the country, one of the bigger and more recent ones across Abaco, calling into question resources as well as a possible need for added firefighters.
It is with immense pleasure that I stand to lay for the first time the Bahamas National Fire and Rescue Service Bill 2025, a bill for an act to establish the Bahamas National Fire and Rescue Service to provide for the separation of fire services from the Royal Bahamas Police Force and for connected matters.
Economic Affairs Minister Senator the Honorable Michael Alquita is putting the country on notice. Avoid submitting personal information to an online scam circulating social media that's purporting to have his support about supposed government payments. Now, in an overnight press release, Minister Alquita insists he did not send out this message, nor is he in any way affiliated with this group or any services reportedly offered. The Ministry of Economic Affairs is urging anyone who encounters links, images, or ads related to this website or other content making similar claims, or if you suspect that your device's personal information or financial information may have been compromised, immediately contact authorities. This matter will be referred to the police for further investigation. Stay with us. There's more to come after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Full Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Ideas become plans. Plans become memories.
So you like my new
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
Housing Minister, the Honourable Keith Bell's pushing back any claim of immoral or non-transparent channels or practices regarding funding for government housing. Bell was responding to Opposition Leader Michael Pintard's request that the government break down the use of $20 million housing loan.
I'm not sure where they're getting their information, but you would note that the government, we have partnered, and this is not just simply this administration, but we have executed a number of public-private partnerships, and so we're getting monies from that source. We're getting monies from the government, from our budget, and so we have funds are available to us. And in addition to that, even though we know that there are Bahamians who may not necessarily have the deposits, we do have Bahamians who have saved tremendous sums of money. Just this morning, someone came into my office with $150,000 towards a home purchase, cash. Last week, it was the very same thing. And so we're getting substantial deposits in. We're telling Bahamians, I want to commend you and encourage you to continue to save towards home ownership. And even if you have debt, do not count yourself out.
That said, Bell reiterated that the requirements are minimal for qualifying for government housing.
You ought to simply be a Bahamian. Simple as that. We are not turning anyone away. As you know, the government has embarked on its very aggressively the rent-to-own program. And so where persons do not necessarily have the deposit, the down payment, or they may very well not necessarily qualify for mortgage, we can still put them in a government home. And so we don't want anyone to be turned away. Come in and sit with us. And even if you have heavy debt, let us put you on a path towards home ownership and restructure your debt. But we are working with everyone.
Well, let's keep the good news coming, and for that, we turn to LaDonna and Marlena, who join us live for a sneak peek of Access Now.
Well, Christmas Wednesday, and Leno, wealth-wise, they have some tips on generational wealth. Isn't that right, Marlena?
They do, particularly the importance of passing down that investing wisdom early. So we're familiar with the concept, but now we're getting the instructions.
Yeah.
So that's the important part.
And that's always a good thing. Stay with us. The National Report is back after the break.
Diet-friendly special.
We're all in this boat together. It takes a team to do it. It doesn't take one person or 3 people, 5 people. It takes a team of people to pull this thing off.
We have about 72 employees in Freeport, and the rest are in Nassau, Abelkona, Luthra, a total of over 165.
A lot of people are not aware that Sans is brewed here in the Bahamas. It's made, it's produced here in Grand Bahama Island after Dorian, and especially during the pandemic. Every time I saw a bottle of beer, every time I saw a Sans product, it represented resilience.
The only thing I can say to the Bahamian people is to support your own.
All of us are in this boat together, our staff, the country, everyone. And we've been through a lot of rough patches, taking on water, bail the water out, and now it's time to be sailing forward. And we need everyone's support to make that happen.
Do you ever just want more?
But wait, there's Marco's! Introducing the More Marco's menu, packed with your favorites starting at just $6. Like our warm, golden baked cheesy bread, crispy stuffed pozole. How about a hot, fresh, medium one-topping pizza, subs, calzones, pizza bowls, and more. Starting at just $6. Certain restrictions apply. More variety, more value, more Marco's. Order today at Marco's Pizza, Bahamas.
Hello?
Hey, girl. What you saying? I just was calling to check up on you.
Hey, girl. Everything fine, but I just can't talk right now. I gotta go to the clinic.
The clinic? Everything okay with you?
Yeah, girl. Everything fine with me. I just trying to get this little one ready because he has an appointment for his childhood vaccination.
Well, Logan's 6 years old. I haven't taken him for his last vaccine appointment since before the pandemic.
Did you know that the childhood vaccinations protect these little ones from preventable diseases like polio, rubella, measles, and mumps? So these vaccinations for the little ones is the best we could do for them.
I'm gonna make that appointment for him because I need him to get up to date with all of his vaccines. Let me let you go, but call me back when you come back home.
Mommy, I need to go get my vaccines.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO WHO, and the Canadian government.
Well, it took a while for it to get here, but when it arrived, well, it made its presence known. New Providence getting a healthy downpour of rain over the past day and a half. No matter where you went on the island, its impact could be seen and felt in the air and definitely on the ground. Many streets turned into streams as rain levels accumulated quickly today. The Met Office reporting that over the past 48 hours, 1.8 inches of rain fell here. The average rainfall for May, 5.48 inches. Now, this system associated with troughing off Florida's east coast, interacting with tropical moisture, continuing to produce showers and thunderstorms across New Providence and nearby islands. A gradual decrease in shower activity will occur this evening as drier air will filter into the area. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean will certainly have more on the weather in Access Now. And that does it for the national report, though. But stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
As a professional graphic artist, I work from anywhere in the world. When I travel, I try to keep up with my paperwork and bills as much as possible, utilizing NIB's ESS, or Employee Self-Service Portal, to submit my monthly payments and to upload my contribution statement makes life easier. The portal is pretty easy to use too. I consider it to be user-friendly. It asks all the necessary questions to guide me through uploading my contribution statement, and I like that it calculates my payments. The NIB representative who showed me how to use the portal, she was patient, friendly, and knowledgeable. I used to fill out my contribution statement manually and visit an NIB office every month to make payments. But now the ESS portal allows for the entire process to be completed online in a time-efficient manner. Like, yay, thank you, that's done. You should sign up today at ess@nib-bahamas.com.
And heritage. The second Bites on Bay in the heart of downtown Nassau proved to be a resounding success. That's why the Director of Operations and Product Development at the Tourism Development Corporation, Dwight Gibson, is inviting both residents and vendors to join in on this latest food truck pop-up.
This is, it's our second Bites on Bay event, second month in a row. Another great opportunity for tourists and locals to sample some Bahamian culture, some food culture. Come down, have a few drinks, just in a very nice, relaxed atmosphere. We're really excited about what this is developing into, and it's really building up a momentum for our permanent food truck park that's going to be coming on Bay Street. We try to obviously spread that tourist dollar and everybody get involved in the tourism industry, right? So for for us and the vendors, we're rotating them each month, so everybody has an opportunity to come out, show what they have to offer. People can come and enjoy the food and a nice atmosphere. I think for them it gives them great exposure. It gives them exposure to the international market, particularly being here at the cruise port, and in addition to the local market. So TDC website, for those that are vendors, can register on tdcbahamas.com. We have a registry of vendors. The event is going to happen once a month, typically around the last Saturday in the month. This one we moved just to try a different date, but generally around the last Saturday in the month. To our local audience, please come down, enjoy it. It's really a really good event. Wholesome family event. You can bring all your kids down, sample some Bahamian food in a really great atmosphere.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
Graduation season is upon us, and CC Sweeting Preparing Students held a careers fair.
And a tale of two beauties. Miss Bahamas Universe contestants talk about their aspirations. Details straight ahead.
Plus, come as you are. Prison Fellowship says the flawed should always be welcomed in church. Stay close for that.
And coming up in sports, VJ Edgecombe impresses NBA Combine.
The Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Tomorrow marks a very historic day for Grand Bahama, Marlena.
It does. The signing of the heads of agreement for the Grand Lucayan. So exciting. This will hopefully be a major boost for the economy of my island.
All right, indeed it will. But let's dive right into the news, shall we? More often than not, you've been asked this question during your adolescence. What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, for this group of youngsters, this question has taken on a different meaning because very soon they will have to make this decision, prepared or not. In this next report, Danielle Dean took to the halls of CC Sweeting Senior High School where the 10th to 12th graders contemplated their next steps during a job fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kool-Aid #Banana Fantastic, Mr. Atlantis. Woo!
CC Sweeting's career fair welcomed a variety of business establishments meant to spark the interest of 525 senior high school students who will soon enter the workforce. Principal Ricardo Patterson said when he looks at the students, he sees bright futures and potential. And this job fair brought them one step closer to unlocking it.
We're trying to expose our students to the different careers that are out there. We want them to start making decisions. This is for the 10 through 12 graders. We want them to start making decisions as to what it is they want to do in their lives.
Anaya Cartwright will be going into the 12th grade this fall, but before taking this step that can sometimes be intimidating for teens, she's grateful for a peek into her future.
This gives us students the opportunity to look for jobs before we graduate so that we have an idea of what we're doing so that we don't have to go searching for that. We already know we have a source of income, which basically cuts down the stress of having to find that after we already graduate the 12th grade.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force, Fire Department, the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, Water and Sewerage, even the Myers Group, umbrella company for KFC, Burger King and Anthony's, among groups presenting to the students. In the past years, the conversation about youth in construction has been in the forefront, accompanied by claims that a good sum of those in the industry, aged 19 to 25 years old, tend to have poor work ethic. And even more, according to Aldika Jackson, HR coordinator with Osprey Construction.
Me coming out to the job fairs on a regular basis, a lot of young people, surprisingly, have no clue of what a construction company does.
Not only is it an ever-growing and fast-paced industry, she added, but a lucrative one too. But she's afraid too many youngsters have become accustomed to the soft life.
But those people, those skill sets are actually people that are regularly employed. Those are people that are entrepreneurs. Those people are able to demand the pays and stuff that they want because everyone needs a house, everyone needs a building.
Her aim to encourage youngsters to not limit themselves or their options. Whether a career in construction, retail, or law enforcement, school executives and presenters hopefully ignited a spark within the students, making their occupational paths clearer. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks, Danielle. Well, prison reform, restorative justice, and welcoming ex-offenders back into the church and rehabilitation were just some of the critical topics discussed at this year's Correctional Ministry Summit in Orlando, Florida recently. A 10-member team from the Bahamas Prison Fellowship Unit, led by President Anthony Sands, represented the Bahamas at that two-day conference hosted by the Correctional Ministries and Chaplains Association. Host of Morning Grace and volunteer of the Prison Fellowship, Pastor Glenn Roll, talked about the significance of restorative justice.
But what that really means is for persons to go into the prisons, bring persons who would have offended, and really sort of set an environment by which those persons can, in some cases, have conversation with persons who they were offended, ask for forgiveness, and really bring both the prisoners and persons who would have been offended into the same kind of environment. And what that also meant was that the government in some places would be able to also assist and create the kind of policies that lend to the kind of restoring the wholeness and the sense of community to both prisoners and persons who are in the community.
As a former prosecutor, Pastor Roll says this international conference opens up a window of networking opportunities for the Prison Fellowship Unit here in the Bahamas.
What we found out that there were a number of chaplains in the U.S., Canada, who convened at that ground, and there are also people who made presentations who were ex-offenders. In one case, the lady who did the presentation was pardoned by President Trump, and she now is the czar, the person who has responsibility for pardonship. So there's opportunities in that regard, and I do believe that the Bahamas have an opportunity to be able to address these matters, particularly when we look at our own laws that we're seeking to pass. For an example, they have a parole legislation that is presently before Parliament.
For decades, Miss Universe has been the poster child for poise, beauty, and womanhood. And as the date for the local pageant slowly creeps up, the contestants hope to epitomize these qualities for an even wider audience eventually. And if they serve like they should, change lives along the way. Danielle Dean speaks to the hopeful beauty queens in this next report.
Miss Heel Wellness, Hallie Bowe, and Miss Andress, Tamia Forbes, are two contestants in the upcoming Miss Bahamas Universe pageant finale later this month. Bowe with a platform focused on youth professional development, and Forbes on mental health with her platform, Her Voice Matters, Her Mind Does Too.
Entrepreneurship, that's something that's very near and dear to my heart, so I just wanted to give back to my community in that sense.
I have witnessed so many teenage girls go through so many challenges of like cutting themselves or insecurities in hair or just feeling as if they're not enough, and I feel like there is a rise of that. So what better time to bring it to the public's attention and to the world's attention than now, just making sure that they know that there are ways, there are support systems, and that they are not alone.
For both young women though, this is not their first rodeo.
So I would have been in a small pageant at St. Leo University, Miss CSA, where I would have placed first runner-up, and it was such a great experience for me. I really enjoyed everything about it and just being able to dive into the segments. And now coming back home, it's no other pageant that I would want to be a part of other than Miss Universe Bahamas.
Oh, I started off very young. I cannot remember exact ages, so please forgive me, but I competed in Little Miss Bahamas, won the Our Little Miss Bahamas title, I want to say in 2008, and then I went on to Galaxy pageants, which is where I really had my break in pageantry. I was Miss Preteen Galaxy Bahamas, I would like to say 2011 or 2012. And then I went on to win the international title, which was huge. I believe I'm still the first and only record holder for Galaxy pageants from the Bahamas who secured the international title. And since then, I've just loved pageantry.
But despite its label, it's not all beauty and glamour. The pageant is no stranger to controversy, as past queens have taken to social media to express their dismay with what they deem a flawed system. Despite those claims, the hopefuls are undeterred.
I'm never going to discredit anybody for that. However, being said, my experience so far has been amazing, and I believe that you really get out what you put into an experience.
Everybody's experience is different. Everybody's passion is different, and everybody can perceive what is going on from a different light. So in preparation, I'm just keeping focused, studying, and just keeping a level head through everything that is going on.
Hallie and Tamia will be strutting their stuff with 8 others come May 25th in the Atlantis Ballroom, all in an effort to walk away crowned Miss Bahamas Universe. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks a lot, Danielle. And still to come, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Leno's Wealthwise, tips on how to handle your money. So keep it locked.
After 30 years of banking, I've decided to take a leap of faith. I moved from banking into an untapped industry, which is manufacturing in the Bahamas. And now we are standing on 3 acres of land on which we're going to be putting the Bahamas' first end-to-end plastic recycling company, Eden Recycling and Manufacturing Company Limited. Eden has 2 arms, recycling and manufacturing.
This is groundbreaking for us. It's never been done before. It really makes a difference, not only in the Bahamas, but even around the world. This is not just a project that we're doing so that we can make a couple of dollars. We want to make sure that it benefits those who come after us. In future generations, we hope that this is a small vision, that they will take it and they'll expand on it. We can have the formula for what it means to do end-to-end recycling in the Bahamas, in the region, and even if we have to export these ideas and thoughts and concepts even into the U.S.
Tomatoes, $1.49 per pound. Iceberg lettuce, $1.99 each. American quality and community since 1965. Super value and quality supermarkets.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Hello?
Hey, girl. What you saying? I just was calling to check up on you.
Hey, girl. Everything fine, but I just can't talk right now. I gotta go to the clinic.
The clinic? Everything okay with you?
Yeah, girl. Everything fine with me. I just trying to get this little one ready because he has an appointment for his childhood vaccination.
Well, Logan's 6 years old. I haven't taken him for his last vaccine appointment since before the pandemic.
Did you know that the childhood vaccinations can protect these little ones from preventable diseases like polio, rubella, measles, and mumps? So these vaccinations for the little ones is the best we could do for them.
I'm gonna make that appointment for him because I need him to get up to date with all of his vaccines. Let me let you go, but call me back when you come back home.
Mommy, I need to go get my vaccines.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, PAHO WHO, and the Canadian government.
Welcome back. You're looking at a shot of the Nassau Harbor Light, also known as the Hog Island Lighthouse. This lighthouse is a historic landmark in Nassau and is located at the western tip of Paradise Island. It was built in 1817 and is the oldest surviving lighthouse in the West Indies. Fantastic shot there by our one-of-a-kind, always fabulous drone pilot, Neville Big Nev Smith. Well, let's head on down to Long Island. Let's go.
Long Island farmers and residents are taking full advantage of the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute's Seedlings program. It's just one of the many success stories of BAMSI's extension services, which have brought critical support and new opportunities to the island's agricultural sector. BAMSI plans to expand its seedling production in Long Island and encourage more young people to pursue farming as a career. There are also school visits, climate smart practices, a farm to school program that will connect local farmers partners with schools to supply fresh produce for meals and the establishment of a greenhouse at a local school with BAMSI's technical support. Marlena?
Sounds amazing, LaDawn. Well, we recently explored why financial literacy is essential for new investors. Tonight, we return to highlight how families can pass down that investing wisdom early and what first-timers should always keep in mind.
Investing may seem like a grown-up game, but Sonia Benaby, VP of Investments at Leno Corporate Services, says the sooner young people learn the basics, the better. It all starts with making the topic a part of everyday conversations at home.
Parents may also allow kids to save using piggy banks or savings jar, as well as they may develop an envelope system for savings. They may also agree to match their children's savings. This would encourage them to save more, of course, and meet their savings goals.
But myths still stop many adults from getting started, especially the idea that investing requires thousands of dollars.
My grandmother was my first finance teacher. I would assist her with counting and separating her money for various spending and savings. At the age of 7, she took me to First Home Savings Bank on Blue Hill and Wolf Road. I could not even see over the counter during that time. She opened an interest for account for me with $20.
And for those wanting to dip their toes into the market, Benaby says there's only one golden rule that shouldn't be ignored.
Keep going. Slow and steady will win the race. The principle of what I was taught remains with me today. Money earned should not be all consumed, or you should not consume all the money you've earned, but some should be saved. When your saving has reached a certain amount, look to invest it in something that can create an opportunity to earn more for you.
With the right tools, mindset, and a bit of patience, building wealth through investing is within reach for anyone. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Diane Dorset.
It's always good to hear from our friends at Leno. Now let's turn things over to ZNS Total Sports to see what's coming up.
And VJ Edgecombe impressing at the NBA Draft Combine. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day. And don't forget the special offer from Cornet Bahamas. From April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% off store-wide. That's right, everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Cornet Bahamas.
At RBC, we're proud to support Alive's Ultimate Business Makeover campaign for a second year. We know that micro, small, and medium businesses are vital to our economy. They drive innovation, and more importantly, they create jobs. By investing in their growth, we're fostering economic success, and together we can pave the road to a thriving business community.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, but the Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You know what they say, boy? Well, yeah, develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do? What does do?
Hey, check the website one. Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, Shop Smart, Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports with the NBA draft roughly a month away. Top Bahamian prospect impressing and opening eyes at the league's combine, which kicked off yesterday in Chicago, Illinois. VJ Edgecombe, a projected top 5 pick in this year's draft out of Baylor, showcasing his skills along with several other top prospects. Edgecombe during the maximum vertical jump, posting a 38-inch vertical, the highest of his group. Cooper flagged the consensus #1 overall pick, had a best jump of 35 inches, 3 inches shorter than Edgecombe. In his lone collegiate season, VJ averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals per game, while shooting 43% from the field and 34% from three-point range. Still on hoops, the journey to the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2027 officially began for Team Bahamas on Tuesday with the 2027 FIBA World Cup qualification draw in Doha, Qatar, the site of the tournament. The Bahamas was drawn into Group B for the Americas region, along with Puerto Rico, Canada, and the second-place finisher of the FIBA Americas World Cup pre-qualifier North. The qualification process for the World Cup will be held in 6 windows over a 15-month span and will run from November 2025 to March 2027. Team Bahamas will play the first of 6 windows against Canada in November. Let's look at your sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is producing work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
It's
time now for your access weather forecast. Heavy rains battered the northwest Bahamas over the last day and a half, and that was associated with an area of low pressure that came out of the Gulf of Mexico with a trailing trough. You can see that trough line now working its way through northern Cat Island, and that will continue to sink towards the south and east. Today, we recorded some 1.8 inches of rainfall here in the capital at LPIA, and when you contrast that with the long-term average, which is 5.48 inches of rainfall, we had almost half of that within the last day and a half. Very significant rainfall for the month of May. And looking forward with our computer models suggests that for at least the next 7 days, we'll have some dry conditions returning to the area. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where we bulk up your business. In the northwestern parts of our country tonight, right through Friday, light and variable winds once again with flat seas. High tide 10 o'clock tonight. High tide again at 10:15 tomorrow morning for the central and southeastern islands through Friday. Easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
All day, watch as you grow, friends and family drift away. Boy, don't you stop, continue to fight. Forgive them, peace and love, and everything will be all right. Say.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Ladon and Malina.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Well, those who asked for the rain, it's now here, Malena.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the rain, but cozy weather is upon us.
Cozy indeed. Yes, it is. And before we get too comfortable, let's turn things over to Matea Cunningham and let's talk socials.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. It's always a joy to have you join me for Let's Talk Socials. Let's get into a dance trend that had everyone grooving over the past 2 weeks. Does "She Was a Fairy" sound familiar? If not, it's the catchy phrase being repeated while a beat drops, and people everywhere are dancing along. Now, I might be a little biased, but do you remember when social media dances had intermediate to complex choreography? Yeah, this one, not so much. If you looked up easy dances in the dictionary, these videos just might be right there. Take a look.
She was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, with a fatty on my daddy, he want grab it, he want smack it, he want have, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, with a fatty on my daddy, he want grab it, he want smack it, he want have, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, yeah, yeah, she was a fairy, with a fatty on my daddy, he want grab it, he want smack it.
Let this be your friendly reminder that social media is a space for lighthearted, simple fun. So grandparents, next time you catch your grandbabies setting up their phones and dancing to something that sounds a little silly, go ahead and jump in. I'm Matea, and I'll see you tomorrow on Let's Talk Socials.
Thanks a lot, Matea. Well, that does it for Access Now this evening.
Yes, but make sure to tune in to the ZNS Network tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. for live coverage of the signing of the Heads of Agreement for the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan.
Good night, everybody.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for The Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
We're coming for y'all again.
Are you ready for the hardest sports show on the market? It's called The Timeout, Sundays on the ZNS Television Network. In our first show, 4 decades of sports in the country.
At Harold One, I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Bahamas, and welcome to The Rundown. I'm Thea Ferguson, sitting in for Clint Watson tonight, and we're coming to you live from Georgetown, Exuma. I said we're coming to you live from where? Georgetown, Exuma. In partnership with the Small Business Development Center, the Tourism Development Corporation of the Bahamas, and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, we bring to you Exuma Town Hall, Road to Economic Empowerment. We broadcast tonight from the St. Andrews Anglican Parish Community Center, where Exumians are set to be in first treat, hearing directly from national leaders in tourism, finance, banking, and small business development as they explore opportunities for entrepreneurs to have a greater economic impact in Exuma and discover how they can access resources for their businesses. Because you see, despite the noise in the market, the partners here tonight say Family Islanders are not being left out. Even more so, they want to lay out in plain terms that Bahamians have an array of resources, agencies, and initiatives at their disposal to realize their entrepreneurial dreams. So for me, driving around the island today, you know, Exuma exhibited her natural charm. Quiet, reserved, very laid back. But insiders say there's a lot of untapped money-making potential that must be explored. A note for our viewing and listening audience, we've been here since about 6 p.m. and the event was officially opened with presentations on topics like the importance of financial literacy, how to access capital for your business, and of course, a prayer. If you're at home, keep your channel right here on ZNS TV, or if you want to take us with you, we're streaming live on both the ZNS and SBDC Facebook pages and across the airwaves on 50 and 40 AM and 104.5 FM. Before we continue, we want to pause now to recognize a couple of our special guests. We have Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for Exuma and Ragged Island, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper. Also in the house, yes, give it up. Also tonight we have Exuma Island Administrator Christian Palacios, as well as Chief Counsel for Exuma, Glenn Davis. And of course, you'll meet our lovely panelists later this evening. So let's get this show on the road. Who is ready to hear how we want to empower Exuma? Y'all ready? We begin tonight's broadcast with opening remarks from Deputy Prime Minister and MP for Exuma and Ragged Island, I. Chester Cooper.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Exuma. Good evening, Bahamas. When we talk about empowering Exuma, it's like music to my ears. When I got involved with public life, one of my key concerns was the ability of the government of Bahamas and the economy of the Bahamas to consistently empower its people beyond the idea of just having jobs to really fostering participation in entrepreneurship. You see, I've had a good life in private sector, in business life, and I wanted the opportunity to ensure that other young and not so young Bahamians would have the ability to participate in the economy as I did. So I'm very excited to be here tonight, and I'm grateful to the SBDC and all of its partners for putting on this great initiative to empower Exuma. I want to thank our hosts for being here and bringing this show to the Bahamas, and I hope that you will have an opportunity to showcase much of the charm and the exciting things that's happening in the island of Exuma. And I will tell Clint Watson that you're not sorry that he couldn't make it. But Exuma, this is an opportunity for you to really access all of the benefits being brought to you from the various agencies of government. Not just the SBDC, who's doing a fantastic job, and I want to give Samantha Roll a round of applause for the work she's doing. But likewise through the BAIC, the Bahamas Development Bank, the Venture Fund, and of course, the newest addition, the Tourism Development Corporation. I'm delighted to tell you that the government of the Bahamas is focused on expanding opportunities through all of the islands of the Bahamas. We're not Nassau-centric. We're not only focused on Grand Bahama, although some exciting things are happening right there, right now, there, and tomorrow, but we're focused on all of the islands of the Bahamas. For example, the Tourism Development Corporation recently launched a grant to encourage Bahamians to participate in the short-term rental business. And I am pleased to tell you that Family Islanders, including Exuma, were the largest recipients of grants from the Tourism Development Corporation. We are setting a trend, and we know that the SBDC, the Bahamas Development Bank, and the other agencies will participate equally in helping us to expand opportunities for all Family Islands. During the budget debate that's coming up very soon, it will likely be under that theme, expanding opportunities, one island at a time. So I'm delighted we're starting here, empowering Exuma, and I hope with all of the foreign direct investments coming to the island of Exuma, and with you taking advantage of these opportunities, we will be a shining example for the rest of the Bahamas that the time for economic empowerment is right now. We're a young country. We're a progressive country. We have improved in social upliftment. We have achieved political independence and national independence, and it's that time right now for economic independence. And I'm delighted that you're joining us and you're part of this movement. This is a movement, and it requires all of us to participate and be committed to empower Exuma and to economic independence. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, DPM Cooper, for those welcome remarks. We'll toss it to a break now, but when we get back, you'll meet the rest of our panelists and the conversation on Exuma's road to economic empowerment gets underway. You're watching The Rundown. Stay tuned.
An electrician for 18 years, and one day I just lost my sight and found that I was in a totally new world. I just found this strength that came from nowhere, and here I am today. Even though I am faced with disabilities, the fire in me, it never went out as related to me being an entrepreneur. But the barrier is just people being understanding and willing to take a chance on somebody like myself. My dream is to see where the government can really pass laws, legislation to assist people like myself. And whether you believe it or not, we do have something to offer this country. We have to make people understand that we are here. And not in many cases we're looking for handout. We want to make a contribution. You gotta live. And part of living is that you gotta take charge of your life. And through programs like this with the SBDC, I know for a fact that my business can now come to life.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
This is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready, simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars in Oakesville, Carmichael, East Street South, and the Charles Sanders Highway. See Little Caesars BS on Facebook and Little Caesars Bahamas on Instagram for more info.
Pizza.
Welcome back to The Rundown, live from the Exuma Town Hall, where we're dissecting and analyzing ways to bring more economic relief to the island. Let's meet tonight's panelists. So not only did he bring us our welcome remarks tonight, but Deputy Prime Minister Cooper, who also serves as Member of Parliament for the island, is staying with us to have a little chat about how we can boost Exuma's economy. He says he remains committed to empowering his constituents and unlocking opportunities across the island. And as he said in his welcome, it sounds like music to his ears. anytime he talks about boosting the economy of Exuma. So thank you so much, DPM, for staying with us. Also on tonight's panel is Samantha Elroll, Executive Director of the Small Business Development Center, where she leads with a bold vision to strengthen entrepreneurship and drive inclusive economic growth across the Bahamas to shape a resilient future for Bahamian communities like Exuma. Let's welcome Ms. Roll to our panel tonight. And next to her, we have Aaron Hanna, who is the newly elected president of the Exuma Chamber of Commerce and branch manager at RBC Exuma. His leadership reflects a strong commitment to collaboration, economic growth, and creating new opportunities for Exumians. Welcome, Mr. Hanna. And last, but by no means least, you heard from him earlier tonight, Gowan Bowe, Group CEO of Fidelity Bank and Trust International Limited, and a respected voice in the financial sector across the Bahamas and the Caribbean. I can tell you, I was taking my IDP notes because I got to, learn, become more financially literate. That's for all of us, right? But as a former Chamber of Commerce chairman and advocate for financial literacy, Mr. Bowe is committed to empowering entrepreneurs and shaping sustainable growth throughout the community. That is our panelist tonight, you guys. I think we are in for a treat. Now I want to hop and skip and jump over DPM Cooper as well as Ms. Roll and take it right to Mr. Hanna, because we need you to give us the lay of the land. Tell us what's happening in Exuma. What is happening here economically? What are some of the trends? What are some of the challenges? Let's just set the pace for tonight.
Good evening, all. Thank you, Ianthea, for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here. So when we talk about the current landscape of Exuma, well, let's start with a little backstory for me. I mean, I recently relocated to Exuma about 3 years ago, and what I can say is that I've observed a lot of new things happening, and there's still a lot of new opportunities to be realized. Foreigners coming in wanting to buy second homes or vacation homes with the intent of having a second home and even potentially renting those properties. There have been a lot of other foreign direct investment, a lot of projects going on. For example, you have the Torch Key project that's under full swing. There was a recent announcement about Amankaya coming down in the that's Children's Bay Key. So there's a lot of foreign direct investment that is happening, and second home ownership construction is big. And so right now, the opportunities are not only in the tourism space, but also within the housing space, construction space, right? And that would bring me to what I consider to be an opportunity for Exumians, and particularly developers who are looking to develop properties. And it was mentioned previously before that, and realtors will also back this up, that we believe that there's a shortage of supply in the long-term rental market. And I'm a firm believer that we need to look at this opportunity as a way to grow the economy, because we need people, we need skilled laborers to come in and offer different services that may not already be existing here. Again, as it's been mentioned before, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, right? And there are particular skills that are still needed. And so I would say that as we continue the conversation around trying to drive economic empowerment for Exuma, we definitely need to consider, for me, one of the major opportunities is around long-term housing, so that we could get the people here to offer those additional services, that we can continue to offer those authentic experiences, as well as serve any other niche markets or any area that we don't have sufficient skilled laborers in.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I want to pass the mic now to DPM Cooper. So Mr. Hanna mentioned a lot, and he said, sorry, that's my mic. Saying that the land is plentiful. There's a lot to expect here in Exuma. There's a lot, like I said early in my opening, so much untapped potential, so much untapped opportunities. Where would you advise Exumians to look? How would you advise them, I guess, to start their search for this economic empowerment that they're searching for?
I think wherever you are in the country, tourism is driving the economy. Upwards of 60+% of the overall economy on any island of the Bahamas is tourism. So you must first look at the tourism industry. And there is a severe shortage of hotel rooms in Exuma across the country. So there's opportunities, as we all know, for short-term rentals. As Aaron pointed out, also for long-term housing. We must look at tourism as the driver, but we must look at all of the opportunities that are indirectly connected thereto. Agriculture, for example, if you had the opportunity to get a containerized farm to be able to grow leafy greens, lettuce, etc., you would be able to supply the entire island of Exuma, hotels included, a part of the tourism industry, with all of the vegetables they need, rather than waiting for the mailboat. KB used to like to talk about bread. Why are we bringing bread into Exuma when it's an opportunity that we can fill right here, right now? It's an opportunity for young Bahamian or not so young Bahamian. We know how to bake, no matter what they say about us. We're some of the best cooks in the country too. So what I'm saying is we must look at the connectivity, the connections. Whilst we might have 7,000 to 10,000 locals living here, the population is much larger. We're still bringing fish from Long Island, for example, and other islands across the Bahamas. So all of these opportunities link back into tourism, and we must simply look at a problem that exists and seek to solve it. Start at a very basic level and move from there. But I invite Bahamians to not just think of the small things, think big. We can own a hotel. We can own a chain of grocery stores. We can own containerized farms that supply all of the agricultural products we need. We can be a part of commercial fishing that provide fresh fish, not just for locals, but for tourists as well, as I've said. And then there are the obvious, like the tours, the direct links to tourism itself. There's still much to be possessed, and I invite Exumians to be creative, be innovative. If everyone's doing a pig tour, there's an opportunity to do a tour going to Little Exuma. We are the beaching capital of the Bahamas. So the reality is that there's opportunities not yet discovered that with a little creativity and funding from Sam at the SBDC, we can do wonders.
Awesome, which leads me right to my next question for Ms. Roll. So we heard so many business ideas. You can be proud of me, Gowan. I came up with like 5 just from what he just said, right? And I hope y'all were taking notes as well. So we hear that there are so many opportunities, so many things that we can pursue and look into. Tell us where the SBDC sits, because we know you're poised to help Bahamians start these businesses. Explain for our audience here and watching at home what your role is and how they can take advantage of what you do.
Well, thank you so much, Ianthea, and good evening, Exuma. So it would be remiss if I don't share with you that I toil from Exuma as well. Roll Town, Exuma. And so I am very proud to be here. I spent most of my day in Roll Town yesterday just looking at the development, what is happening in our various areas, commonage, family land, right? And the ownership. Because once it starts at owning land, right? And what you can do with that family land. But SBDC is one that is well diverse. And our services and offerings expand across all industries and sectors. It expands across the archipelago. You would have heard from my colleague of what we have done already to date. I mean, we've been able to fund about $92 million through grant, loan, and equity funding for small businesses across the Bahamas. And we've done that with our partners. We know that of that amount, Exuma has been, able to capture about $1.3 million of that. But I understand, I heard you earlier, that's not enough. We need more. And based on what is happening here on the island of Exuma, and what is intended to continue to happen, there are great opportunities with SPDC. One of our key things is, while we can provide access to capital is important, one thing to start a business, it's another thing to get the money in order to fund that business. But you want to be able to sustain. And so it's important through our programs that you indulge in our capacity building, in our entrepreneurial training, and our advisory support, because it's free 99. It's free 99, but it is absolutely invaluable. For us, we've done programs such as Women in Business. And guess what the first eligibility requirement is? That you have to be a woman. But men, we have not left you out, because we also launched our Men in Business. And through those programs, we were able to fund, in one instance, over $600,000 to women entrepreneurs across the Bahamas. In another instance, we were able to fund men in various industries across the Bahamas in the tone of $600,000. And so there are programs, there are agencies, there is support available to help many of you realize, whether it's a startup, and even if it's an existing business, maybe you need to regroup, revamp, rethink, or perhaps you just want to expand.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. And one of your partners is Fidelity Bank, and we have Gowan Bohe. And earlier in his presentation, I made note of it, his IPD strategy. And the first thing was information. And Samantha talks about being informed about the programs and the initiatives at our disposal. Do you think people have, I know there's an inherent fear of money every time you hear the word money and going after big money. Do you think there's a fear of money, that financial illiteracy that you spoke about, that kind of keeps people away from even pursuing what's out there?
There definitely is a fear, and I think it's because we lack our own study and our own information that we are presenting. That very often we see ourselves as having to have someone do a favor. And when I say that, not in the derogatory sense, we are hesitant to be confident that we are presenting a viable opportunity. I think some of the issues are also the lack of collective investment. That if we look at our forefathers and you ask how many of them were successful in starting, it was as simple as ASU, where it was a grouping of individuals that threw hands, and they had business purposes. Sometimes that was the development of their home, that was the education of their children, or it was the start of a small business. But it was a group of persons working together, and that simply has evolved, but we haven't taken advantage of that. We often talk about what I'm going to call the individual entrepreneur going to find funding. As they say, many hands make light work. So what if we can get a grouping of 10 individuals who are like-minded, don't necessarily have to like one another to go social drinking together, but have common interests in a venture, and set it up legally that allows them to be shareholders, contribute funds, and be held accountable to one another. So I think the issue that we have about the fear of money is saying that, am I worthy of it? As opposed to saying, I'm going to present why it is a good investment in me and the project I'm going to do, or a good investment in us and the project I need to do. It is important that we start with the basics and the foundation. I think I start from one basic principle. The government is a facilitator, not a provider. And so we don't look at the programs that the DPM has mentioned as being the provider. We look at those being the avenue to provide for ourselves. It is better to teach a man to fish than to give him fish. And so we need to make sure that the government's mindset is where he started by saying, how do we empower? Well, empowerment is not by having dependency. Empowerment is by showing how things are done, creating incubator programs, creating apprenticeships, opportunities, and then also having the learning opportunity to say, how do I sit down one-on-one? And to end to the way you started in terms of fear, very often when the conversation is not in a public domain, it is one that persons feel comfortable, if you will, acknowledging their lack of understanding. They're willing to open and have a conversation. And then when they find out that it's just mythical, that it's difficult, and they can actually do this, but they have to go and do some work, meaning they have to get the information, they have to put the effort in, you find more persons coming back with a more realistic opportunity that will get them far further ahead than a pie-in-the-sky opportunity that is hoping someone to be an angel investor.
All right, thank you so much for that. Exumians, y'all scared of money? Are y'all afraid to go after money? Because according to Ms. Roll, they got plenty in the givens. And apparently, you know, Family Islanders seem to not be seeking out the SBDC as much as they should be. Do you find that to be true?
For the SBDC, we know that for the past 3 years, our strategic focus has been on Family Island development, and for good reason. I mean, we understand that there are different challenges compared to New Providence, and then there are varying challenges from island to island. And so for the SBDC, we've made intentional efforts to be on the island where we have a representative, and you would have met Agnes Clark earlier, who is the representative for Exuma. But to bring a whole team to support any type of entrepreneurial clinic. And when we come with partners, because we believe in collaboration. We can't do this by ourselves. We believe all hands on deck. But it's important that we, particularly for the Family Islands, we provide that in-person, that touch, so that we can help provide the guidance, the information that you need. I mean, we certainly embrace technology as well. And so anything that we do from a training aspect, there will always be a hybrid format or some virtual format. But even I still prefer pen and paper when I'm ready. And so sometimes the information is so much better when someone is there with you and guiding you through it. And we understand that that is a need. The other part of it is, don't be afraid to approach the SBDC. You know, through some of our surveys, we understand that there is a fare to access funds. There is a fare to understand the risk. But we are here to support you with our partners to make sure that you are making those calculated risks when it comes to business.
All right, well, thank you so much for that. So I like that you touched on digitizing and technology and what that looks like. And so we're going to toss it to a quick break right now. But when we come back, I want to get a little bit more into modernizing businesses, right? Not just, like you say, the pen and paper and the cash registers. How do we now take Exuma and the Bahamas global? You're watching The Rundown. We'll be right back.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting TingsyBahamas.com.
Summer in the Bahamas. The weather is hot, but not as hot as the ZNS summer packages. Get ads on ZNS TV or ZNS Radio Network or the TV community page, or a combination of all three. ZNS has got you covered with great prices, whatever package you choose. Book before June 7th and get the local Federation Championship Baseball bonus full of all kinds of extras free of charge. Contact your account executive or call ZNS Sales at 502-3800 today. Hot summer package rates valid until July 31st.
Hi, Phil Swift here for the Flex Seal family of flood protection products. Our flood protection products are specifically designed to work together in order to create multiple layers of super strong protection. All these windows, doors, seams, and openings have all been sealed up tight. Now there's a new way to protect your home or business from damaging floodwaters. Get the removable Flex Seal family of flood protection products.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. This is The Rundown. So we started a little bit before the break to talk about technological advancement and digitizing and modernizing our business. So to you, Mr. Hanna, is there any advice for modernizing business offerings and, positioning your company to compete on the global market? We talk about e-commerce, we talk about online payment platforms. What advice would you have there?
Thank you for the question. So what I would say to businesses that are looking to take their business to the next level is really to be open to moving into that digital space. And when I say digital space, I'm talking about using these e-commerce platforms such as Tingsy, such as Street Smart 242, and also looking at accepting different methods of payment. I find that there's a reluctance for some business people. They've been so accustomed to, that cash inside costs no fight, they like to say. But it's equally as beneficial to be able to accept alternative forms of payment, right? And we know that Central Bank would have launched their $100 program in Exoma a few years back, and we do have, some adoption, but I think that there's an opportunity for greater adoption. When we think about the movement of funds, the cost that it may take, right? Obviously I'm a banker, and I hear stories of clients that have to travel from another key, right? So imagine you're traveling from Stanley Key to come to the bank, to the ATM, and unfortunately, the ATM
on that one day.
So you just, you basically spent your money to take a ferry or a charter, time to get to the branch. It's probably an hour drive to get to the branch to find out that the ATM may not be working or you're not able to realize those services. So I think that the adoption of digital currency like the $100 is going to be crucial to businesses moving forward and just for us to transact and do business. I mean, quite often I may have a client come in, they withdraw some money, and they go outside, they give the money to the person that they had the money for, and that person comes in and deposits the money to their account, right? So all of this could have been done with a simple transfer, right? But because we're so accustomed to cash in hand and, kind of resistant to exploring those digital payment options, we make things a little bit difficult, right? You could have done that from the comfort of your home whilst, enjoying your favorite beverage in your bed with a click of a button. So definitely being open to digital payments and the e-commerce platforms such as Tingsy and Street Smart, I think is the way for us to continue to grow our businesses here.
And again, Mr. Bo, there's fair there as well. Because I've heard Bahamians say, I ain't putting my money. What? You on my card? On this card? What's on this card? I don't know what on this card. I want to see my money. So how do we change that mindset? How do we grow that mindset to get more Bahamians to understand, like DPM Cooper said, the not so old and the old? There are a lot of people, who just don't believe in digital currency. How do we change that?
Well, it's by, and this is one where I could say, and my counterparts don't like when I say this, the banks have failed in terms of educating and appreciating that a spoonful of sugar helps medicine go down. How many persons speak with their children, grandchildren by WhatsApp, video conference, by FaceTime, by Zoom, Teams? Go back 10 years, you only knew whether you pick up the phone and you physically engage with them. Go back 30 years, when me and the DPM was in university, his own maybe 40, you were sending a letter and literally waiting 2 weeks for a response. So we've evolved in our lives, but we've not translated that into our financial understanding and our financial advancement. We see the risks. When you have money in your pocket and it falls out, you've lost it. You have money on a card on your bank account and you drop your card, you call, you cancel it. We see it as saying, well, I don't trust the system, right? So what if someone hacks the system? Again, there are records and audit trails, backups and protections from the likes of the regulators that allow you to do so. And it is not suggesting that this is without some form of friction and without some form of risk, but there always is. And are we at a more limited basis? Persons look at cash and believe that it is cheaper. When you pay me in cash, I don't pay the bank for the merchant discount rate for my card terminal. But what's the cost of cash? I need a security officer if I'm handling hard cash or large amounts of cash. That's a salary. I need probably a safe place to locate it and maybe an armored car or certainly armed processes to move it from one location to the next. I have, unfortunately, the viewpoint of $1 for the business, $1 for me, $1 for the business, $1 for me. So I have pilferage and I have losses that I have from those persons who are accessing it. I have the actual fire, hurricane, flood, all of those losses that will occur when I have this physical cash that I don't have when I get into the digital space. And we don't see the cost of cash because it is not upfront. We are paying that by expenses. But if we did a comparison and said, how much is it costing me on a digital platform to move, and how much is it costing me on a percent basis to handle cash? And Aaron spoke about even the travel to deposit it and the deposit fees and the other things that take place. So if we put them on a like-for-like basis and I eliminate the risk of loss that is associated with the physical currency, then you will find that persons are more open to it. But the fear comes about because we see it as being different in our everyday lives. No one has cable TV now because they stream everything, except me because I don't know how to work it. No one really engages in physical meetings, and almost that becomes annoying from a business perspective because what's the first thing people ask for? What's the Zoom link, right? And we become depersonalized because not even the screens are open anymore. but we've become comfortable with who we're talking to behind a black screen, but we've lost confidence in a system that has multiple players to it. But like I go back and say, the banking sector, the financial services sector, the regulator has responsibility to bear in this, because whilst these things were seen as natural and evolutionary, we assumed that everyone was going to adopt and accept it in the same manner, as opposed to taking it to the persons at the level that they required. And, you know, I put it this way. There's an industry in this country that has gone digital with the movement of funds, etc., right, whether it should or it shouldn't, and obviously they got to the people.
Well,
the banks have to learn to do the same thing.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. That was great. I want to segue, though, now, because I know you guys are here because you want to hear about opportunities. You want to hear about how you can start businesses or move your businesses forward. So back to Ms. Roll from the SPDC and some of your most current initiatives. One in particular, the fly fishing initiative, right? So that plays a crucial role in our ecotourism, and according to what I read, it contributed some $169 million and 7,800 jobs in 2018. Talk to us about the fly fishing initiative and how Exumians can take advantage of that and why it's important.
Yeah, so we in past have always done initiatives around agriculture and fisheries, so commercial fishing. We then, through our partnership with the Bahamas Fly Fishing Association, realized that there should be greater focus specifically on fly fishing. We know that the top 1% globally use that as a form of entertainment. We also learned that we have the best flats in the world. And so, again, utilizing our very own natural resources to empower Bahamians, which should be a Bahamian-owned industry. And all of that is the reason why we launched the initiative. One, to bring awareness to the industry, but two, to focus to where Exuma is, I think, perhaps one of the third islands that have some of the best flats. And that industry itself is so robust. There are bone fishing, fly fishing lodges here that can take advantage of that program itself. That program allows for the flats guides to become certified. It allows for funding for that certification. It allows for funding in terms of equipment towards the fly fishing. So whether it's the boats itself, and I'm not technically sound in terms of the particular equipments that are needed, but the engine and all of the other pieces and elements and instruments that are needed. You know, we've provided where it's up to $40,000 in funding for that. So that we just launched it initially. We intend to do a second tranche because we're wrapping up that particular program. In addition to that, we launched our Crafting the Bahamas, right, Ayanthia? And I want to talk about that because we still have a number of Bahamians who are artisans and who produce really great work, whether it's straw, whether it's jewelry production, and they do it using authentically Bahamian products, raw materials. It could be coconut, it could be conch shells, those types of things. And it is produced at such a high quality. Now, I'll be honest with you, we need to help those who are producing it on a mass scale, where we want to make sure that that's something that we can get on a regional scale, right? There is still opportunity within the local market because we're trying to get those who are doing it in Red Bay's Andros to patronize those in Exuma, to get it to clients in New Providence. And that's the domestic market. And we thought that the Tingsy platform, that marketplace, would be the best way in doing that, at least to help and support. But we're focused on authentically Bahamian products. These straw designer fashionable bags, and not just the purses, but, you know, the work bags. We have entrepreneurs who are designing sandals, Bahamians, fashionable sandals. And so these are the type of products that we want to revive throughout the Bahamas, including Exuma.
All right, thank you so much for that. So as I was scrolling our live stream on Facebook, we have Joan Roll, and she is questioning if the infrastructure in Exuma, will keep pace with the growth that we are encouraging. DPM, how would you respond to that?
I believe Ms. Joan Roll lives here or spends considerable time here, so she would be aware of the significant investment in infrastructure that we've seen over the last 5 years in particular, more than $250 million. Roads from one end of Exuma to the next. The airport is underway again. We're seeing the development of bridges and docks and all across the island of Exuma and the Exuma Keys. So I want to thank Ms. Roll for asking this question. We do have significant foreign direct investments coming to the island of Exuma. People are fighting to be here, as you know. This is the investment capital of the region right now. We have well in excess of $2 billion of foreign direct investments coming in. And the reality is that we've gotten caught behind the 8 ball as it relates to infrastructure, but we're catching up. We're making significant inroads right now in terms of preparing for the future. Wherever there is a problem, though, I invite Exumians to see an opportunity and not just focus on the problem, not just sit and complain about it, but to offer themselves, to participate, to ask what we can do to help. We must build Exuma together with our own hands. As Member of Parliament, I am going to do my part, and I know Exumians will join in and do their part as well. I want to thank Ms. Joan Roll for assisting and being a part of the solution.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that response. So I may have some questions, but I think the audience tonight may have some better questions. They're on the ground. They're the ones who live here. They want to thrive here. They want to start businesses here. And so we're going to toss it to a quick break. But when we come back, we'll have a quick Q&A for our audience. We'll be right back.
Got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
Fashion was something that I've always loved. I always, as a child, loved to see women just impeccably dressed. But my thing was drawing the looks and mixing colors, and fashion was in my blood. My name is Dr. Jillian Curry Williams, and I'm the designer for Remilda Rose Designs. What sets me apart, that I pay attention to detail. Like, I have an eye for detail. I pay attention to the construction of my garment. I want to make sure that when my garment is completed, that you can wear that on the wrong side or the right side because it's impeccably made. I put my personality into my passion. Well, the fabric of hope was inspired by my father. My father had cancer, and I would go with him to treatments and seeing everybody just look despondent and dreary. And one day this lady dropped her mom off and her mother fell when she got inside, and I was like, wow, like God, like I'm only a fashion designer. Like, what can I do to assist these people? I know God had me to create it to inspire persons with cancer or any illness that there's hope, that there is light at the end of that tunnel. The encouraging word I would give to women, it's been in my heart for a couple of days, to speak to the older women who may feel that I'm 40, what can I do? I'm 50, what can I do? And that's when the fire in us kicks in. We've had the work experience. We pass all those tests. So take that idea that God has given you and put it to use. This is where it all begins.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
Rousing round of applause from Exuma tonight. Thank you so much. This has been an amazing night. We've gotten so much information. I've learned so much. But we want to toss it now to the audience for some questions. I think they may want to know how everything you said here tonight will personally impact them, impact their lives, and impact their future. So if we have anyone wanting to ask the DPM, Ms. Roll, Mr. Hannah, or Mr. Bo a question, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody. So my question is piggybacking off of what Ms. Roll asked in the Facebook Live about infrastructure. So we're being asked or suggested that, Exuma needs hotel rooms, it needs short-term and long-term rental spaces, but there are still places in Exuma that don't have basic infrastructure like access to the water grid and access to the electricity grid. So what kind of support is being provided for people who are in those more remote places, especially me, somebody who's living in Little Exuma? Thank you.
Thank you for asking. You've given me a great opportunity to highlight some of the things that we're doing and have been doing. Little Exuma is getting running water for the first time. I've waited for it all my life. For 50 years in Forbes, still I've been waiting for running water. I'm delighted to be the MP that make it happen. Thank you for asking. We're also doing running water in Baratari. We've replaced water mains in Georgetown. We've had poor water pressure in Rural Town. And now that problem is gone, I hope, forever. So the reality is we're investing in infrastructure. I want to thank the Water and Sewage Corporation. We are also part of the energy reform initiatives. We will ultimately get a solar-powered plant here for the island of Exuma that's going to hopefully make power more reliable here. You know already about the roads and the airports and the docks all across the island. I think with 365 islands in the Exuma chain alone, we must always remember that Staniel Key needs a bridge. They've gotten one. Black Point needs a dock. They're going to get one. Black Point needs an airport. We're working on that. Staniel Key needs a new runway. Farmers Key needs something. All of these islands, and Ragged Island too, are all a part of the chain that we must take care of. And the reality of it is that we must be incremental, we must be intentional, and we're doing just that. More than $250 million invested in infrastructure over the last 3.5 years. I think we're getting our share, Exuma.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone. My name is Namika Forbes, a new young entrepreneur on the island of Exuma. I'm from the island of Exuma, the granddaughter of the late Livingston Marshall Sr. and Shirley Marshall. I had a question for you, Mr. Cooper, as well as you, Ms. Roll. What are you guys now going to do for younger entrepreneurs on the island? What initiative does the SBDC have that is tailored specifically to younger entrepreneurs? I know in the island of Exuma we have a lot of older entrepreneurs who have been in the game for generations. So what are we going to do for people like myself who now want to step into the entrepreneurial space?
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I hope I get to chat with you after the show. But in terms of young entrepreneurs, so SBDC in particular did a Young Entrepreneurs Initiative, and that was open to all islands, including Exuma. So there were some Exumians, young entrepreneurs in Exuma who were able to capture some of that funding and support from the SBDC. we intend to launch that program again. And so that's specifically between the age of 18 and 35 for young entrepreneurs, right? Outside of that, there is no barrier for a young entrepreneur to apply to any other program that we have. So feel free, anything that we have a young entrepreneurs component as part of our our Entrepreneurs with Disabilities program, and we're doing that in partnership with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture as well. So a specific program, yes. We tend to tailor our programs to the needs of the public, to the needs of our entrepreneurs. So we certainly offer that.
Let me just tell you that these programs work. There was always a bit of skepticism about bureaucracy, etc., but we saw it with the Tourism Development Corporation's grants for short-term rentals. People applied, they got money, it happened quickly. So I've long been skeptical about Exomians not accessing these opportunities and not participating, but the reality is they work. We're seeing Bahamians get grants and loans and equity funding for their businesses, so I invite you, when you see an opportunity, to apply. We continue to put on entrepreneurial programs. My office is available for assistance with business planning, etc. We encourage young entrepreneurs like you to get involved actively.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Reno Curling, and my question is for the DPM. Sandals closed, I think, in August. What is the timeline on Sandals? Because yesterday I saw where Inland Revenue is now selling off pieces of the beach villas. So can you give us an update on the timeline about the conversion? I have more questions, but I'll
Sandals is committed to investing and converting and spending $100 million into converting Sandals to beaches. It's public knowledge that Sandals has got some issues. You got to render to Caesar what's due unto Caesar. I think they're working it out. I think they're going to be okay in terms of that discussion. And once that is all settled, I'm satisfied that all of the agreements are already completed and in place, and they're going to make an announcement themselves in terms of when they're actually going to begin construction. I am advised that they have materials, up to $20 million worth of materials on the docks in Florida waiting to come. They have the agreements in the Hotel Encouragement Act. The government has done its part, and now it's up to Sandals to settle the outstanding matters, complete their agreements, and we'll be off to the races. I can't say more than that, but I think I've said enough.
Okay, and I'll use one more. Anybody can answer it. When FTX was launching, the Bahamas was supposed to be the crypto capital of the world. Where does the government currently stand as it relates to cryptocurrencies, and how does Bahamians learn more about it so that they could be a part of the generation that's booming in a few years?
Reno, thanks for getting in 2 questions tonight. You've been gravelicious. Today I said in the House that I envisioned the Bahamas being the digital assets capital of the Americas. I believe that we've had financial services. We're building on that ecosystem. I expect that we are going to continue to build around the new legislation we've put in place, and we're going to be successful in this space. We've pivoted before. We've been successful before. We've been innovative and progressive, and we're going to do it again.
Before we take any more questions for our broadcast, we just want to officially end our show. As long as our panelists are here and willing to answer the questions, we'll allow more questions from the floor. But this has been the Exuma Town Hall Road to Economic Empowerment on the Rundown. Thank you so much to our panelists, DPM Cooper, Samantha Roll, Aaron Hanna, and Gowan Bo for being here tonight. All right, you guys. This has been The Rundown from Georgetown, Exuma. I'm Ayanthea Ferguson. Good night, Bahamas.
Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS. You and Your Money is brought to you by the National Insurance Board.
Sickness on the job is a possibility. During this time, the NIB Sickness Benefit works for you. Sickness benefit is for qualified insured persons unable to work as a result of a specified disease, physical, or mental disablement. To claim, complete the Med 1 benefit form. Section A of the form is completed by a physician only, verifying one's inability to work, citing the ICD-9 code, a description of diagnosis, and indicating the period of incapacity not exceeding 13 weeks per Med 1 form. The physician signs and dates the form and affixes an official stamp. Forms completed by physicians in another country